in the dentist's office and in the kitchen, nitrous oxide is used to make whipped cream. We found it's been rebranded, attracting new, younger users. And in body camera you're about to see, that even catches law enforcement by surprise. In 2022, Phoenix adopted a program called Vision Zero, pledging money and resources in an effort to end all traffic deaths. And while the number of crashes involving serious injuries are down, those resulting in death are up and have been since 2015.
Cities have 90 days to serve you. If it doesn't happen, the ticket is dismissed. Data we obtained from Paradise Valley showed that happened about 60% of the time.
We took a closer look at 10 cases from 2021 that involved cyclists that were killed. Important to note, Mitchell was not the county attorney at the time. 4 of them were hit and runs, yet the vast majority, 9 of them, resulted in only misdemeanors or traffic citations. Only 1 case resulted in felony charges.
That's why we wanted to take a closer look at this. The State Dental Board, police, and the State Attorney General's office all investigated this business and its owner, who took a plea deal on the drug charges. It's all possible because the state doesn't regulate dental labs, meaning no one is inspecting them or doing any background checks.
St. John's is a small town about 4 hours northeast of the valley. As you drive in, the only billboard advertises for Denture Adventure on one side and the 7th Street Laundry and Showers on the other. The phone number is the same for both. That's because the same guy, Tom Elam, is running them out of the same building.
We just make the dentures.
Are you licensed to do that?
You don't have to be licensed in the state of Arizona.
Turns out he's right.
We're a dental lab. We just make the prosthetic. We don't go into the mouth. We don't work in the mouth.
Elam showing us around his lab.
And then we pour it into stone, and then we build the prosthetic on a stone.
How are you trained to do this?
Well, I worked for a dentist for years. In my 20s, my father-in-law was a dentist.
In Arizona, that's enough because the state doesn't regulate dental labs and their techs. That means no one is checking Elam's criminal background. Arizona's Family Investigates, finding police arrested him for selling meth out of a laundromat in 2014. Elam also charged with trafficking in stolen property and possession of drug paraphernalia. Court records reveal as part of a plea deal, Elam pleaded guilty to all 3 charges and got 7 years probation. Some might find that kind of strange, to run the lab out of here.
How do you mean by strange?
Well, it's the same
lab. Well, that was all false imprisonment anyways. It was actually for some solar panels.
We're dealing with healthcare and dirty laundry in the same building.
All of this is why Dr. Brennan Hancock, a dentist in St. John, says he reached out to the State Board of Dental Examiners.
There's not that quality assurance of the dentist watching these medical appliances.
The State Dental Board declining to talk to Arizona's Family Investigates on camera, but they confirmed they looked into it and that Elam is not licensed. The board says, quote, "We have no jurisdiction over dental labs. Unfortunately, the information we were provided did not indicate the lab technician was doing dentistry." Hancock also going to police.
I can see it. I understand his frustration. The law is complex.
That's why St. John's Police Chief Lance Spivey says he referred the case to the Arizona Attorney General's office.
Did it seem like the AG's office took the complaint seriously when you reached out?
Absolutely they did.
The AG's office looking into it, finding no wrongdoing. The lack of regulation is frustrating, but not surprising to Bennett Napier with the National Association of Dental Laboratories.
It's a consumer safety issue. So, the devices that are being prescribed and placed in the patient's mouth are a medical device.
He argues more states need to license and regulate dental labs. Right now, only 13 do, but not Arizona.
If there's something that goes wrong, there's no recourse for that.
Tell me why you do this.
It's a way to help the public out. This is one of the poorest counties in Arizona, and there's a lot of people that need a lot of help.
Elam claims his products cost 1/3 of what a dentist would charge and that those who come to him don't have insurance and can't afford a dentist. We asked Hancock about that.
So I feel for the community. I feel for the cost of it. There are ways to do it. There are Medicaid programs.
Now, Hancock says he sends his patients who need dental products to labs that are overseen by dentists or dentorists. There are dozens of them across our state.
I mean, I guess in a way I could see him comparing this to the way people drive south of the border for cheaper dental care, which also is not regulated by our governments. But say somebody gets one of these, as he said, a medical device. It's a medical device for your mouth. What if they get one that doesn't work or doesn't fit properly? Is there any recourse for that?
Well, the AG's office is urging people to contact them. They say they will investigate. But that's the problem with this lack of regulations. There's really not oversight or accountability for people who have problems when they spend, thousands of dollars on one of these, dental products.
All right, Mr. Walton, you're found not responsible.
Not responsible, meaning Christopher Walton's speeding ticket is dismissed. Back in November, the 21-year-old was cited for speeding in Mesa. A camera, part of the city's photo enforcement program, captured him doing it. There's even a photo of him driving. Was it a little nerve-wracking to be in court and have to go through this whole process?
Yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking. But I know I had to come in there with confidence.
So how did he beat the ticket? We'll get to that in a moment. First, let's talk about how the process works and what options you have if you get one of these citations.
The ability to reduce collisions, reduce injury at the collisions, and reduce the overall speed that traffic is traveling in Scottsdale.
Police tout the benefits of these programs. Arizona's Family Investigates looked into it and found that data mostly backs that up.
We want to make sure that we do have safety on our roads.
Valley cities are handing out a lot of them. In 2024, Paradise Valley issued 52,000, Mesa 39,000. In 2023, Scottsdale filed nearly 73,000.
The system will capture front and rear photos of the vehicle. From there, it undergoes several quality control and processing checks in order to show the driver of the vehicle.
When you get the ticket in the mail, you've got 4 options. First, take an online defensive driving class. The 4-hour class means you won't get any points on your license, but you can only take it once a year. Next up, you could just pay the fine, but that means you get the points on your license. Third, you could fight it, which is exactly what Christopher did. Finally, you just ignore it.
If you ignore one of these, what happens?
Well, if you ignore it, the next question becomes, are they serving you?
David Evan-Wilson, an attorney who's fought these cases for more than a decade, says state law requires that a city prove you received the ticket, hence the process.
In how many of these cases where you've gotten a citation in the mail do they follow up with the process server?
It's a significant number, and it depends also on what the jurisdiction is.
Cities have 90 days to serve you. If it doesn't happen, the ticket is dismissed. Data we obtained from Paradise Valley showed that happened about 60% of the time.
But if you're served and continue to ignore it, you could get those points on your record, and the fine would then go to collections.
It could affect your ability to re-register your car, and it would also put a default judgment of responsible onto your record.
Please state your name and date of birth.
We spent a recent morning in Mesa Civil Court to see the process firsthand.
That you committed the civil traffic offense of a red light violation.
According to the data, for every 10 tickets that reach the courthouse, half either pay up or take defensive driving, while the other half are dismissed, meaning a process server isn't sent out or the driver wins in court.
Is it worth showing up to court? Like taking time out of your day to actually go down there and play this out?
Well, it kind of depends on the scenario. My experience is it's extremely difficult to win one of these.
Back to Christopher's case. He'd already received one of these tickets, so taking the defensive driving class wasn't an option.
Do you understand what you're being accused of?
Yes.
Here he was caught going 11 miles over the speed limit. He argued that he was driving responsibly and that there were no other cars on his side of the road.
And I'm finding that the state has not met its burden of proving that it's more likely than not that you committed this violation specifically because I don't think you're driving unreasonably.
I was able to reason with the judge, get some facts going, and help me out with my case.
Christopher took the day off work and drove an hour to appear. He tells me it's worth it.
I don't want nothing to mess up my job and what I have going on.
I recycle for the planet?
Well, a lot of us are actually trying to save the world because it does one plastic bottle at a time.
We all know the benefits of recycling.
I was a Girl Scout leader for a long time, so it was important to us.
I have children, I have grandkids. I want them to have a clean environment.
But when we asked people if they believed the items they put in their blue bins were actually getting recycled, we were met with some healthy skepticism.
I was a betting man. I put my money on the landfill.
What makes you think that it might be going to the landfill?
It's just really convenient. It's really easy to do that.
I hope it's going to recycling. I really have my fear it's going to end up in the landfill.
Where do you think it goes?
I believe it goes to the dump.
Well, there's only one sure way to find out, and that's where these come in. Arizona's Family Investigates put an air tag in 8 different plastic containers, mostly laundry detergent bottles. Our new friends then let us put those containers in their recycling bins. 3 in Phoenix and Glendale, 2 in Mesa.
I can't wait to see what happens.
That was back in January. Then we watched and waited.
2 pounds out of every 3 we throw away go to landfill. About 1 pound gets recycled.
Dr. Raj Butch at ASU studies this. For more than a decade, he's worked with Phoenix to become more sustainable.
Ultimately, it's got to be driven by economics.
He explains our cardboard, plastic, aluminum, and glass have value. If they're collected and bundled, they can be sold off, thus offsetting the expense of recycling.
We've imported all this material. Why are we burying it? Why not create jobs? Why not attract industry?
Right now, Professor Butch explains those companies don't exist in Arizona. That's why, after being packaged, our recycling goes to other states. That's important to consider when you learn where our tags ended up. We tracked the 2 in Mesa to recycling plants in Tijuana, Mexico, and Vernon, California.
Well, at least it's going somewhere. I mean, that's important.
All 3 of our tags in Glendale, which we put in 3 different sections of the city, all ended up in the same place, here at a pit in their landfill. The city stresses they recycle, so we wondered how that could have happened and went to them for answers.
It could be that either a load was contaminated and it was sent down there. Unfortunately, being so long ago in January, I can't tell you exactly which load it was.
Michael Carr, Glendale's Deputy Director of Field Operations, also offered a second explanation.
We recently had a fire in our facility, so that material, once it got wet, we had to actually dispose of that material.
Wow. Well, that's disappointing.
In Phoenix, our results were mixed. 1 tag went to a transfer station and then pinged 60 miles away at Phoenix's landfill in Buckeye.
I would reckon that that material ended up in the landfill because of the different material makeups from the air tag to whatever it was stuck to being sorted into the wrong bin.
Amanda Jordan, a project manager with Phoenix, explained our air tags couldn't be recycled and could contaminate their loads.
It would landfill. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh. Well, that's a bummer.
Another tracker never made it out of the transfer station. The third did some traveling. Your tracker ended up in Waterloo, Iowa.
Waterloo, Iowa? Okay, that's far. It's good because we take our time to recycle and everything, so that's good to hear.
But does it actually benefit the environment to be transporting our recycling so far away?
It's not a perfect system. It's not the most ideal, but it's certainly more environmentally beneficial to find pathways to continue to reuse that material versus just burying it in the ground.
As the system grows, the hope is more companies that buy our recycling will set up shop here.
It's nice to hear that our city's doing, their part and helping us do our part.
I can now tell my husband that I was right because that's the most important.